And Chicago's mayor has made new recent history. He is number one when it comes to folks being and pew-pewed in Chicago. Pop that confetti. You deserve it, Mayor Brandon Lightfoot. You're the best. Here are the numbers in the first 90 days, guys. We have those that were pew-pewed and 171, and those that were pew-pewed and wounded, 838 total, reaching a whopping 1,009. We're talking about the first 90 days in his administration. Isn't that nice? Total homicides are at 191. Folks, give a big congratulations to Chicago for once again keeping it classy. All together now, for he's a jolly good fellow. All right, that's enough. Wow, really great stuff. Folks, by the way, if you have suddenly become unsubscribed to the channel, you know, at one point you click subscribe, and now if you go back and return at the end of this video and you see that you're not, these are just goofy games that the algorithm and everyone plays. So let's wake up that algorithm by hitting that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys, and make sure that you are subscribed. We also have our lovely, tender-hearted governor. Isn't he just a sweetheart? He kept us so safe throughout the session over the last few years. They're pretty upset. They're pretty upset right now due to the fact that a judge that was randomly selected for the new act that was signed, I talked about it the other day, HB218, which essentially identifies paramilitary people and the whole M-word militias, you know, and then of course it defined on whether or not you may own a Daisy BB gun or have concealed carry, or somebody like myself that teach good law-abiding people how to protect themselves, or, you know, any type of training as a firearm industry member. So you now have a category. You've been labeled as a member of the firearm industry. Well, anyways, this has been challenged by the NSSF, and this case was randomly assigned to Judge McGlynn, I want to say. I apologize if I got that wrong. Well, this judge was part of the Illinois assault weapons ban, which, you know, is just not doing good as of this point. I get it. There are appeals. Firearm Policy Coalition, you know, it doesn't necessarily affect their case. We know that Mr. DeVore, an advocate and fighter for the Second Amendment, is submitting an appeal. But as of this moment, it ain't looking good. We got to keep moving forward. Anyways, the lovely governor and the attorney general are not so happy that this random selection of judge, in this case, they're saying it was not random. And they're challenging it because we know that he did give a temporary or an injunction in the case for the Second Amendment. So these guys are just not happy about it. But it's not going to stop, and we're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue holding our head high, keeping up the good faith, and pressing forward. But we also have a group, which is really a fabulous group. You may have heard of them. They're called Everytown. You know, they're really in conjunction with that other lovely group, Moms Demand Action. And these folks are extremely anti-gun, and they really lobby. They got a lot of money. They lobby against our gun rights. Anyways, they are suing YouTube, Alphabet, and of course Reddit, because if you recall that horrific situation where a horrible person committed an act at a grocery store, they're saying that YouTube and Reddit allowed this individual to be indoctrinated. They allowed the algo to push less favorable or nefarious topics to that person, and of course it was their fault. For once, I have to say I have some sympathy for the big tech in that regards, because we gotta blame somebody, right? We can't just go to the source of the problem and say that this person committed a horrendous act and they need to be tried, and if found guilty, of course, sentenced, and in this case, Well, my reasonable assumption and all evidence points that it is. So therefore, let the courts handle it in that regards. We have coming in from Bloomberg Law News, YouTube, Google, and Reddit are being sued for promoting extreme and harmful content that allegedly pushed a gunman to kill 10 people and injure 3 more in a mass shooting, if you recall, last year in Buffalo, New York. The companies are named in 2 separate but related lawsuits asking the New York Supreme Court in Erie County to require YouTube and Reddit to fix the algos that push out harmful content. Spoke about it in a recent video. Thousands of you guys have worked with me. You know who I am. You know how I operate. I love to laugh. I love to talk a lot of BS. But, it was I that had that list over my mouth and was squelched for over a year. And, I don't get it. What is harmful content? When does it stop? The complaints were filed by Everytown Law on behalf of the victims of that shooting at the market in May of 2022. Lawsuits also named Georgia Arms Company, Mean, LLC, which, by the way, I wouldn't personally call myself that if I was an entity, but nonetheless, which is being sued by New York State for making a gun lock that was too easily removed by the shooter, bypassing the lock allowed the shooter to replace his legal 10-round magazine with an illegal 30-round one, turning his rifle into an illegal assault weapon. Here's the thing, folks. We've been saying it over and over. Illinois introduced that assault weapons ban January 10th of 2023. I know this is coming out of New York, but the fact is that since that gun, that magazine has been illegal, we have seen countless videos in Chicago, obviously in New York, of individuals who wish to commit crime. They're going to do it no matter what. They're going to find a way, as evil always does. All right, let's move on here. The shooter used YouTube, Reddit, and other online sources, everybody as of that point, to learn how to equip himself with military-grade weapons and remove the Mean Arms magazine lock from the gun. He also purchased body armor from tactical gear provider RMA Armament Incorporated after allegedly engaging directly with the company's representative through Reddit. Here's the deal, folks, is entities are selling their products. I don't care if it's a gumball or anything else you can dream of. Of course, people are reaching out to entities, communicating, and making those purchases. Let's blame the offender algorithms that YouTube and Reddit employ to learn user preferences and push out similar content helped radicalize the shooter and indoctrinate him into a racist online community, the lawsuit alleges. He viewed hundreds of videos promoting all sorts of yucky stuff, the lawsuit says. The video site's algorithm continued to push that content to him through its algorithm, which relies on artificial intelligence program called the brain. The social media sites helped, bear with me, facilitate and enable the shooter to commit the massacre in May of 2022, complaints said. Here's the deal, folk. I'm going back to Illinois, all right? We right now have the Illinois Attorney General filing complaints with car companies such as Kia and Hyundai that their vehicles, I know you heard of it, that their vehicles are easily able to be hotwired, if you will, and stolen. So they're just not doing enough, the car companies, that is, to keep the consumer safe. I hear that. However, why aren't we going after the criminal? Hell, it was just a few days ago in Chicago, two Chicago police officers witnessed an armed robbery in progress, and they were told to stand down. They were told not to pursue the criminal in that situation. Here's my question. I wonder if the victim in that case, where they were told not to pursue the criminal in Chicago, if the victim had drawn his pistola and used it in self-defense, I wonder if it would have been further investigated and pursued on whether or not that was justifiable. By the way, I'm not even talking about pressing the trigger. I'm just talking about if that concealed carry holder had drawn in self-defense, would they have investigated further? You and I both know that they would have. We both know that to be true. Folks, that's pretty much all I got today. You know, by the way, a lot of views, a lot of comments, a lot of good stuff in the last several days. I appreciate it, man. Please continue all your support. A lot of you guys are getting our free guides, and I have a new one for you. This one is the 6 things you didn't know would happen when the police arrived. Folks, you and I can talk ourselves into jail. Talking ourselves out of jail in an act of self-defense ain't going to happen. Get the free guide. You'll find it in the description and in the comment section. I'll pin it. Click on it. Plug in your email. Plug in your friends and family's email as well. 100% free guide, and you will know what's going to happen when the popos show up after you have defended yourself. And some of it is quite shocking information that is useful to you to help you develop a plan on what to do in that aftermath. Great stuff, guys. Get it. It's free. It's education and training. Helps this channel, and it's free to you. So I would encourage you to do so. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I love you. I thank you. I appreciate all the support. Again, check to see if you're still subscribed. You know, I gained several hundred new subscribers, and then one day overnight, just the other day, whoop, about 150 of them just disappeared. I mean, a little strange. The likelihood of that actually happening, pretty slim, so double check that. Talk to each other in the comment sections. As always, I will have another video coming out soon. Remain safe.